a long time. I was committed to Georgia, and then some things happened, and I kind of reopened my recruitment a little bit and reevaluated, and I think God wanted me to be here in Oxford, and that's where I am, and I'm really blessed to be here for sure. We knew that we had a really good opportunity coming in with the number one ranked team coming into Oxford, and so we really wanted to make a statement and get some momentum here in Oxford, and so everybody really likes to see what I did, but I can't do it by myself, and so if you go back and watch the film, the O-line strained all night. They really gave us a push when we needed to, and Jerrion and Snoop had a really big night, drawing the defense to them. And so when I pulled the ball, made it really easy on me with the receivers blocking downfield for me and everything. And so good team effort. We just we came up short. You just kind of say a little prayer for them. I saw it before our game started. We hadn't left the hotel in Tupelo yet. Headed to Oxford, and so I was watching the game, and I saw he went down, and then I saw later in the game the ambulance showed up, and so just said a little prayer for him because being in this situation, he's a really good player. I think everybody can see that, but it's a tough situation to be in. When you get injured when he's having such a great year, and you hate to see it. But I know that his identity isn't in football. I think that everybody can see that his identity is in Christ, and so I think. He's going to bounce back and recover quickly, and hopefully see him do big things. When baseball season rolls around, that we can be prepared and not be so far behind the ball, and we can catch up pretty quickly. And so we've been working at it. Mainly right now we're really focused on football, though, since we're in football season, but just keeping the rust off, really, our swings.
Is there more pressure on you playing the piano or trying to deal with Derek Brown and the Auburn defense?
I don't know. I think it kind of helps you in both ways, and being able to perform. Growing up, I've always been a performer, whether it be on the football field or the baseball field or whatever I was doing, or in the performing in front of people at a concert or piano. And so I've always liked to be in front of people and show them what I can do and display the blessings that God has bestowed upon me. And so I think they're probably about even. They're not much far apart.
Well, I have to hand it to you. I mean, you blow me away here with some of these answers.
This is the Paul Finebaum Show, presented by Johnsonville.
We welcome you back. We are glad you're here, and it's a pleasure to have Alyssa Lang join us as we start to look ahead to some of tomorrow's big games. Alyssa is in Auburn, Samford coming to town. So, Alyssa, certainly Auburn is going to be able to take care of Samford, but give us the mindset of the Auburn team and that campus a week after a difficult loss to Georgia and a week ahead before Alabama shows up.
Yeah, Paul, we asked Coach Gus Malzahn what the focus will be going into a game like Samford. I think the last time I checked, they're a 7-touchdown favorite against Samford. And Gus said that really the goal is to just go in and play Auburn football, and that's good, clean, consistent ball. He felt like they had a good chance against Georgia last week, that it came down all the way to it. We saw Auburn come back big in the fourth quarter. He said if the ball bounces a couple different ways, we have a chance to win that game. So they're happy with how they've been playing, but they also know there's room for improvement. We talked to Bo Nix this afternoon as well. He's constantly on a learning experience throughout this freshman year he's having in the SEC. He says every week he learns something new, and that won't be any exception tomorrow against Samford.
When you play a game like this, sandwiched between your two biggest rivals, I realize you can't do anything about it. You have to play the game, but what are you trying to get out of it?
Yeah, I think there's a couple different things, especially for Auburn offensively. We know what they can do defensively. We've seen that defensive line just terrorize quarterbacks across the SEC. With a new wrinkle on offense to be able to execute things more cleanly, especially for Bo Nix, to be able to go through his progressions, to stay calm, to stay in the pocket and play Auburn football and be able to continue to learn this Auburn offense. We've seen him pick it up fairly quickly so far this year, but in a game like tomorrow, they'll really be able to treat it like a good practice experience, a good experience to get Bo some reps, and as well as some of their backups. We'll probably see Cord Sandberg come in as well, the backup quarterback who hasn't had any really time to get any reps at all this year. So it'll be a good opportunity for Auburn to make sure that they're playing their best ball going into a week that's huge for them, the Iron Bowl in 2 weeks.
Alyssa Lang covering the Samford-Auburn game. 26 years ago, Auburn stole Samford's coach, Terry Bowden. And they ended up leading Auburn to a perfect record the next year. So there's a little bit of history. I think Jimbo Fisher was on his staff. Thank you very much, Alyssa. Great to have you on.
Thanks, Paul.
So we are going to get back to your phone calls at 855-242-7285. And James is up next in Tennessee. Hello, James.
Hello, Paul. How are you doing today?
We are doing great. Thank you.
Yeah, it's my first time calling. I met you at a Tennessee and Alabama game, I think, a year before last in Knoxville. And just as soon as SEC Nation went off, me and my daughter hollered at you, and you came over and talked to us, and I appreciate that.
Well, thank you for mentioning that.
I got two questions. Well, one question and one story. With this year's Alabama team, I think I heard you say yesterday or day before yesterday, there's 19 seniors that is leaving after this year. Is that right?
I believe so, yes.
What do you think next year looks like?
Well, I think it all depends on who the quarterback is, and I think these next few weeks are critical. You know, is it going to be Mac Jones? Will it be the freshman from California who everyone is raving about? Don't forget, there's always that possibility somebody could be a graduate transfer, a la Joe Burrow. So, you know, I think it's still it's almost impossible to know. I do know one thing: the schedule is going to be much more difficult, just from a conference standpoint. Georgia will be at home. Ole Miss, LSU is going to be on the road. I can't remember who Alabama's opening game is. I know it's I think. So Alabama opens next year against USC. Impossible to tell really how good they'll be, assuming they have a new coach. So already that schedule sounds more ominous. Yeah, more ominous than this year.
Hello?
Yeah, I think thanks for the call. We are, who knows what's going on here. But we're having some difficulty with callers. But Doug is up next in South Carolina. Hello, Doug.
Hey, how you doing, Paul?
We're doing great. Thank you for the call.
Yeah, first of all, I want to say when I watched Coach Kiffin a few weeks back on your show, he said that if I'm not mistaken, that they recruited Hurts, Tua, and Matt Jones at the same time.
That is correct.
Well,
no. I think Hurts was a year before.
Okay. Well, it seems to me like a great offensive-minded coach like Coach Kiffin. He wouldn't recruit a weed between two flowers. So Matt Jones obviously must have some kind of athletic ability. He just hasn't been able to get it, showcased yet because he ain't had no time. But I think Alabama fans ought to give him a chance because the kid might turn out to be really good. And
listen, hey, Doug, hold on a second. Doug, it's not. Thanks for the call. It's not a matter of whether Alabama fans give him a chance or not. He has an opportunity tomorrow, and he has the biggest opportunity of his career next week. So there'll be enormous pressure on him against Auburn if he succeeds. Certainly, much will be said about him, and let's hope he has a good game. Thank you. Keith is up next in Oklahoma. Hello, Keith.
Hey, how you doing, Paul? Hey,
thank you.
I've got an opinion, and everybody's got one. It's mainly to do with Clemson, and I watched Tuesday night where they picked the Final Four, and all they talk about is strength of schedule, resume. But none of them ever say anything about Clemson's schedule. Then you have Georgia sitting there, who got beat by South Carolina. Alabama got beat by number one, and they're below them. I don't understand that. But my main problem is you win a national title, you automatically get in the Final Four. Because Clemson, they about got beat 2-point conversion by North Carolina. They'd have won. But nobody on that show says anything about their schedule on that Tuesday night.
Well, you have to remember, listen, that show is to reveal the top 25. I've heard. I was on that show the week before, and I'm pretty sure I heard some reference to to schedules. I mean, they break everything down. So, I mean, it just at some point there's only so much you can say about Clemson's schedule. Now, the reason why I don't think you're hearing much about Clemson's schedule is because they have, since the North Carolina game, they have performed at such a high level, albeit against crummy opposition, but they still have played very well.
Hey, appreciate your show.
Thank you very much. Jim is up next. Jim, good afternoon. Welcome to our show.
Hi, Paul. Before I get to my question, I do appreciate you with what you said about A.D. Mullen. There's one thing that we've come across, at least I've been calling for 8 years now, that I've noticed is you have no problem coming back and admitting when you feel you're wrong, regardless whether they think you're wrong or not.